We're back! Just like that. How about that? Taking 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs in the season series 4-2. And that's important with regard to playoff standing. You heard Alec Bohm say it, Ben Davis. You heard him say, I think it might not be the last time we see this team as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ben Davis, I'm Michael Barkan. All the interviews for you. We'll hear from Rob Thomson in a moment. We'll start it off. Great team win, Ben. Great individual performances to culminate in that win, beginning with Jesús Luzardo, who is back to his old ways, it seems.
Yeah, this is a great team win, as you said, Michael, but each guy has to do their individual job. Baseball is a team sport, but if you don't do your job individually, it does obviously not going to help the ball club out. And we saw that really the top of the lineup get it done. We saw Luzardo get it done. We saw the bullpen get it done. Very good job today by Phillies pitching, and especially Luzardo was outstanding. 10 punch-outs, no walks. He was dialed in today. 99 pitches for him on the day. But nice to see him get back to his old ways.
Let's take a look at our eye on the mound. Who could it be? Presented by PGW, energy for all of us.
Through 6 innings, you can expect that when you're striking out 10 guys.
99 pitches and a homer ain't one, Ben Davis. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, 10 strikeouts, all swinging on 99 pitches, 5 2/3 innings pitched in his last 2 starts, gave up 20 earned runs. Hopefully, that's a thing of the past. You know what else I liked out of Luzardo today? His pitch count was way up, way early, and he settled down and kept it under 100. Pitch arsenal, as you said, four-seamer, 34.2% of the time. His first 13 starts today, 46%.
Yeah, you're seeing the four-seam percentage. There's something that really jumped out at me, and I had our fearless producer, Sean Kane, make this board up, and the fact that these are drastic numbers, from 34% up to 46%. The sweeper way down. The changeup, pretty much the same. The slider, a few more today, but look at the sinker. 0 sinkers thrown today. He just said, you know what? I'm getting pounded by this pitch. I'm just going to, you know what, throw it away. And that's exactly what he did today. I'm anxious to see maybe they do that with Mick Abel with his 2-seamer, because he hasn't been getting really good results with that 2-seamer. Maybe just stick with the 4-seamer. But those are drastic changes that Jesús Luzardo made with his pitch repertoire, and boy, did it work this afternoon, because he was brilliant.
We talked pregame about whether or not he might be tipping his pitches. You were a little lukewarm on that. It was more changing the repertoire than anything that might have been tipping pitches.
It was repertoire, and it was command. He just simply had better command today. The breaking ball was a little bit sharper. The 4-seamer had good ride to it, and he was locating. So that's all. It's a perfect storm for him this afternoon.
They get that kind of start, and I'm saying put a lock on it. That's it. It's done. But the way Luzardo had been pitching, the bullpen, etc., when they were up 3-0 after 1, did you think that that was a day, or you thought they were still going to have to fight for more runs?
Well, you never know, especially the way the Cubs have swung the bat. I mean, they lead the National League in runs per game for a reason, because these guys can really hit the baseball, as witnessed last night with the 4 homers that they had. But this is a ball club. I think that they went up against Luzardo. Maybe they were feeling a little bit overconfident because of the last 2 outings that Luzardo has had. But he went out there today and shoved big time, and that was fun to watch.
Let's, speaking of fun to watch, you got to see Rob Thomson right now. He's always fun to watch. Here's the Phillies skipper on this big win.
Rob, regardless of what you found or didn't find with Luzardo throughout the week, it has to be a relief to see him go out and implement it in the pitch as well as he did.
Yeah, he really executed today. Pounded the strike zone, change-up, slider, both really good. Got a lot of weak contact, a lot of swing and miss, obviously with 10 punch-outs, no walks. He was fantastic.
How much did the deep dive, without sharing details, how much did the deep dive you think help?
Maybe a little bit, but I think it's more about execution than anything else.
Was he establishing the inside of the plate better today than the last couple times out?
I think so, and it wasn't leaking on the righties anyway. It wasn't leaking back to the middle of the plate, and that's really the key.
Were you and your staff a little anxious going into today's start because he had struggled so much, and how important he is?
I wouldn't say anxious. I think our bullpen, we were a little bit light in the bullpen today. That's probably what I was most concerned about. But no, as far as Luzardo, he's got great stuff, and everybody's going to have some bad outings, back-to-back bad outings, but his stuff just outweighs everything.
He's already got as many stolen bases this year as he had all of last season. What have you kind of made of his commitment to what you wanted him to be in spring training?
Yeah, I think he's getting it done. You know, I said 380 on base. He's not there, but his on base is really good, and he's stealing bases. He's going to end up with 15 to 20 home runs probably. So he's doing everything we've asked.
Jesus is such a competitive guy, and that those last two starts clearly bothered him. So,
Yeah.
you know, how do you feel for him that he was able to be excellent today again?
Yeah, I feel great for him. I really do, because he, you know, like you said, he's very competitive, and he wants to do well all the time. He's a really nice guy off the field. When he gets on that hill, he's a bear. He really is, and you know, I think you're right. It bothered him a lot, so I'm happy for him.
I think all but one of the hitters had a hit today. Can you talk about how the lineup kind of broke out today?
Yeah, it was good. 5 extra base hits, 2 home runs, triple, a couple doubles. I thought we swung the bats very well. I think in this series so far, you know, we've had a lot of hits, a lot of singles. I understand that, but I like our approach.
Not that you look this far ahead, but how important could it be to clinch a season series against this Cubs team given the standings?
Yeah, it could play, you know, could play big coming down the stretch or in the playoffs. You got to get there. So I'm not assuming anything. But, you know, that's a good club over there. They can really swing the bats. And to win the season series against them, that's huge.
You mentioned being thin in the bullpen, so what do you make of the job of Luzardo and Mercado to be able to finish it out?
They did great. You know, Luzardo throws strikes. He's got the good curveball. He's pretty neutral. And Mercado's just got great stuff. As long as he throws strikes and just attacks the zone and powers the ball through the zone, he's going to get people out because he got great stuff. He, you know, the high velocity fastball, and he can really spin it. He looked good out there today.
Looking ahead towards this weekend, what can you take from last week that can help you this weekend against Toronto?
Well, you know, I think hopefully we swing the bats like we did the first night in Toronto. That's what I can take away from it.
It seemed like both runs that Cubs scored, it came after there's a ball hit to right that maybe Nick had a chance for that he didn't come up with. What do you make of those plays and his defense overall, right, this year?
Nick normally is a guy that he's going to catch whatever he can get to, you know. Yeah, the ball down the line, he just kind of overran it. I think the ball in the gap, he just kind of misread it. But Nick's fine in right field.
This guy, the ball, it literally is how hard is he going to hit it and how far is he going to hit it.
Yeah.
Seemingly every time he goes up, it's must-see TV.
Even though his home run pace has slowed down somewhat, he's still right there in the home run leaders. Cal Raleigh is atop from Seattle, 26. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and there's Kyle Schwarber ahead of Corbin Carroll. But his batting average, really, I don't know how concerning that is to you, but he ended May at 267. Now he's batting in the 240s, so he was getting on base a lot more RBIs as well. It seems like today, certainly, he took a step in that direction.
Yeah, and he had some pitches last night to hit, and he was just fouling them straight back, as we had discussed in the pregame show. And he didn't miss that one today. That ball, 431 feet, it went almost 110 off the bat. This guy just demolishes baseballs. And he said the other night, he said, there's something missing. He says, I don't know what it is. I'm going to keep working until I find it. Well, he found it today, and that ball was crushed.
It also helps they had Ben Brown on the mound, did Chicago, and the Phillies had tagged him when they played the Cubs at Wrigley. So that was kind of good to get that hook and going again.
They let him out there to kind of, I guess they didn't want to burn through a lot of guys in the bullpen, but, you know, he threw 100 pitches in, 5 2/3 innings, and he gave up 6 earned runs. So it was kind of a hang with him for Ben Brown, but the Phillies made him pay, and it was really, really nice to see them get out to that early lead.
Back to the clubhouse. Here's Jesús Luzardo on his outing today.
Obviously, the last two have been extremely frustrating. Just a bad stretch, but being able to come back and just get the win with the team was huge. I think that was the biggest thing for me.
I want to get into whatever you may have done or adjust. When you make whatever adjustments you have, the positive results that come right away. How good is that for you?
It's big. I think that just getting back on track is huge, and just like I said, a sense of relief of understanding that the stuff's still there. I feel great physically, and the adjustments that we needed to make, whether it's pitch selection, more conviction behind certain pitches, being more fine as to where we're going, but the adjustments that we made obviously worked, so we're happy about that.
What do you think was the biggest adjustment today?
There's a lot of things that we tinkered with. I think that the biggest thing was attention to detail, attention to where we want to go, pitch selection that comes from me. I think that we had a really solid game plan today with JT, and we executed it well. And I think execution is the biggest part.
To follow up on being relieved, how badly did you want that after the way the last two went?
I don't think anyone else on the planet wanted it more than I did. It was just, like I said, relief, and just obviously, like I said, happy that the team got the win. It was a big game for us today, trying to get the series win. And, after using the bullpen a good bit yesterday, I wanted to go out and give some length.
Seemed like you threw less sinkers than you normally do. Is that part of the game plan, or is that just how the game unfolded?
Who knows? Yeah. It was. We had a good game plan today.
Check that sixth home run of the season for Alec Bohm. He'll get the seventh soon enough, but it's only 6 as of today. Ben, he's batting, I think a lot of folks might be surprised, he's batting .283 on the season. Maybe it's the times he throws his helmet or throws his bat and gets disgusted with himself and his own play, but the fact is, he is heating up big time.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think he gets frustrated with himself because he knows he's better than that. And that's something that, from a hitting standpoint, it gets very frustrating. And, he thinks he should get a hit every time up. Every hitter thinks he should get a hit every time up. But what he's been doing lately is, and I know he's not going to hit a ton of home runs, but I'm going to say this over and over. Just give me the RBIs and the high average. That's where he's projected to go. Again, 98 RBIs the last couple seasons, respectively, and he's well on his way to that number again because he's that guy. And I think he's adding a lot more protection to Kyle Schwarber in that lineup with Bryce Harper being out as well.
Let's take it next level, presented by Ocean Casino and Resort in Atlantic City, as we go inside the box score. And when you've got 10 hits in a major league game, Ben Davis, you're doing pretty good. When you've got 7 RBI and 2 home runs and a couple doubles, you're doing pretty good. When you look at that lineup, up and down the lineup, other than Rojas, everybody hits.
Yeah, everybody hit in this lineup. I think Tom said that they had 26 hits in the 3 games in this series, so that's pretty darn good. And obviously to win 4 out of 6 games versus the Cubbies that can really swing the bats is huge. But you look at the top of that lineup, they're really getting it done in this series.
I don't want to minimize either the fact that they took their 14th series of the season, the fact that they had lost their previous 3 series, and a couple of series they had been swept. So winning today and taking the series against the Cubs and having a tiebreak against the Cubs come playoff time, should it be necessary. We heard Alec Bohm mention that. That's an important thing at this point in the season.
It is an important thing, especially with their psyche, because this is a ball club. Obviously, they're in front in the National League Central. This is a very good ball club. The Chicago Cubs have a very good ball club. Their bullpen is the best in the league. Their starting pitching is okay, but this lineup really swings the bats, and the Phillies handled them in the 6 games that they played. So if they were to face off in the playoffs, I like the Phillies' chances. I think they match up extremely well with them. But to just go up against a team of that character and winning percentage, to have them win a series, I think it's going to help them moving forward.
Won 4-3 2 nights ago in 11, lost at 8-4 yesterday, and then 7-2 this afternoon in the getaway game as the Phillies take the series against the Chicago Cubs.